The dangers of artificial sweeteners are well known, with research linking their consumption to an increased risk of type 2 diabetes, obesity and cancer. Additionally, a large-scale prospective study published in September 2022 found artificial sweetener intake was associated with a greater chance of developing cardiovascular disease. And if you needed another reason to stop the chemical-laced sweeteners, all signs point to them being extremely dangerous to your health. A recent study published in the British Medical Journal followed 103,000 French adults, and it concluded artificial sweeteners are not a safe alternative to sugar, and they're linked to an increased risk of cardiovascular disease. To assess this connection between heart disease and artificial sweeteners, the participants were given questionnaires regarding their health, their height and weight, lifestyle, smoking status, professional occupation, number of children, and physical activity. 3 non-consecutive days of the 24-hour dietary records were taken for all participants during the first 2 weeks of the study, and this was used as a baseline assessment. Then the records were taken every 6 months thereafter. Study participants indicated all foods and beverages consumed throughout the day, and after 2 years the data was compiled to determine the dietary patterns. Throughout the follow-up period, the participants submitted biannual health questionnaires, and they were able to report any new health events, treatments and examinations. For each cardiovascular event that was declared, the participants were contacted by the study physician and asked to provide any relevant medical records. The mean follow-up duration was 9 years, and in that time 1,502 cardiovascular incidents occurred. The data showed total artificial sweetener intake was associated with an increased risk of the heart disease. Adults with the highest intake of artificial sweeteners, consuming about 78 milligrams per day, had a 9% increased risk of cardiovascular disease compared to those who didn't consume these sweeteners at all. Of all the study participants, 37% consumed at least one type of artificial sweetener regularly. Aspartame was the highest consumed artificial sweetener among the participants, contributing to 58% of the artificial sweetener intake, followed by acesulfame, potassium, and sucralose. More than half of the adults in the study consumed the artificial sweeteners in soft drinks, with no added sugar, and about 30% used them as tabletop artificial sweeteners. The researchers concluded these food additives should not be considered a healthy and safe alternative to sugar. Artificial sweeteners have been marketed as a sugar-free option that can help you to lose weight and more. But research is clear. There's nothing healthy about these food additives. In fact, they're downright dangerous to your health. They've recently been linked to cancer, and they're known to contribute to the following health issues and conditions: headaches, migraines, moodiness, dizziness, nausea, impaired liver and kidney function, impaired eyesight, digestive complaints, weight gain, obesity, type 2 diabetes and inflammatory conditions. Some healthier substitutes to the artificial sweeteners would be stevia, raw honey, maple syrup, monk fruit and dates. It's also important to look out for the hidden artificial sweeteners in packaged foods like cereals, zero-calorie beverages, chewing gum, salad dressings, yogurts and more. And also realise all the natural alternatives still affect your insulin response and insulin sensitivity. Therefore, the healthiest option would be to avoid sweet flavours completely, unless you're consuming fresh, unprocessed fruit. A recent study published in the British Medical Journal concluded artificial sweeteners are not a safe alternative to sugar, and they're linked to an increased risk of cardiovascular disease among adults. Those who consumed about 78 milligrams of artificial sweeteners per day, which is considered a higher amount, had a 9% increased risk of cardiovascular disease when compared to those who didn't consume the sweeteners at all. Instead of choosing products made from artificial sweeteners, choose natural sweeteners like stevia, raw honey, maple syrup and dates. To book a consultation or to learn about herbs, supplements and natural treatments, check out my website.